Didn't know why people wasn't here, and they turned, sound like a politician, he turned right around and says, weather's playing reason on here. I want to tell you what I am in a little bit, but first I want to tell you what I'm not. I'm not a polished politician, I'm not charismatic, but I am not a phony. I will tell you that. People say I don't smile enough. I'm grinning from ear to ear right now. I am so happy to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I believe in traditional Christian principles. I believe in family and personal responsibility. And I believe in very limited government. Our whole life has been grounded around our children. This is my wife, Jennifer. Married her 44 years ago. And undoubtedly the best thing that ever happened to me. But we worked in church, teaching from high school to the 2-year-olds. And worked with youth groups. And my whole life has been centered around athletics. A couple of years ago, we raised money and built 2 ball fields in Chickamauga. The president of Boosters Club there, Jennifer and I, and she was the core behind that, and we raised $100,000 in 2 years, which was unheard of back in those days. So we've been very community oriented, and everything in my life is driven by the youth. I think you build a church around young people, you build a community around young people, and I feel like our young people are fixing to witness something different than we ever did in our life. And those are the things that drive me as the future of our children and grandchildren. Jennifer and I are avid shooters and hunters, not as much now. We've got a 2-year-old that she keeps. She's been keeping kids for 40 years. We're hunters. We love shooting sports. I'm a life member of the NRA. We're Diamond Life sponsors of NWTF. Jennifer was the president of the National Wild Turkey Federation Pigeon Mountain chapter. And I believe in the constitutional carry. I'm a member of Georgia Gun Owners, carry.org. I'm a founding member of Oath Keepers. So as far as the Second Amendment, I am very much in support of the Second Amendment. I'm going to go a little further in what I believe, but I want to tell you something I want to cover, because I've been out on 2 occasions to 2 groups like this, and I've been asked about Crystal Springs, and I'd be glad to tell you about it, because I'm sure it's going to come up again. I went to work at Crystal Springs in 1970 until I could find another job. And 13 years later, I was part owner and president of the company. And I went right into management, different management areas throughout the company. We were very blessed. We started looking for someone to buy the company to save a school in the community. But we ended up being that person. And we lived in a 12 by 60 mobile home, and she sat up there with a window air conditioner with black and white TV that you couldn't even see, and with no car. And the car I drove was borrowed from her grandmother. And we struggled through things, and we made it, and she stuck with me. We're not rich people. We've had a very good job. We've been very blessed. But Crystal Springs became one of the best printers in the nation. We printed Defender M fabric, which is worn in theater, protects our troops, fire retardant. We started Toxie Hayes in business with a real tree. He didn't have anybody to print for him, Mossy Oak, and didn't have anybody to print for him. Nobody would talk to him. We started him in business, and had Mossy Oak Properties. This spring we worked with Bill Jordan and Realtree on their new Max 5 pattern that will be on the Salem Duck Dynasty this next season. And so we were a very good printer. Our company was profitable this year. We closed the doors we closed the production on June the 28th. And we still have 16 employees. And I'm going to tell you why. Business is terrible. We were busier than any of our 3 competitors. People that came to the plant said, I can't believe you're closing this plant the way you've upgraded equipment. The problem was, with President Obama's unilateral decision that he made on his own to close 60% of the coal plants in the United States, our energy will skyrocket. We have a coal boiler. With the health care plan, it didn't bother us that bad. We've had excellent health care on our employees for years. The best in Chattanooga, better than TVA or anybody. We had $10 copay, 90% co-insurance, and $1,000 out of pocket, $100 deductible. until 5 years ago. It's quickly gone downhill since then. And as the economy got worse, that Obamacare, our customers were frightened. Uncertainty kept them from doing business. They were telling me that business did not look good. It became tougher and tougher for us to collect money, as you can imagine. And we work in a business where we didn't have any contracts with anybody, people had never seen before, and at times ran a $20 million business. And it got to the point we couldn't collect money. We closed the plant, paid every penny we owed, paid everybody we owed, paid our employees complete insurance over $100,000 for 2 months, and tried to take care of them. We told them ahead of time that we were going to close. And they still think we're going to open. There are possibilities the plant will open. I will not be involved. I will retire December 31st. There's some people that want to lease equipment we talked to today. There's people that want to salvage part of it and put a smaller plant in part of the operation that's there. I will not be involved, but I certainly hope we're working hard toward getting that done. If there's any questions about that plan, I'd love to talk about it with anybody. I'm proud of what we did. We made the right decision, and as Dean mentioned, with the nuclear option that was just invoked, it even doubles down on the decision I made. We are in trouble with this nuclear option, and we will have no power to stop the Senate. It'll all have to be, stopped in the House, and appointments. I don't think they can appoint anybody to the Supreme Court. But that's about Crystal Springs, and I want to tell you a little bit about me. There is a difference in this race. As I told you, I'm not a charismatic speaker, or I don't smile enough, but I want you to look at me and see what I stand for. My whole campaign is about transparency and ethics. I think our state level politicians are not crooked people. We ranked 50th out of 50 for ethics, and people said that was a con job, but right behind us was Michigan. They were Democratic state. Our problem comes from transparency. We have very tough ethic laws. We don't put any bite into them. We don't ever go after anybody that violates ethics. But transparency is the problem. And when I really wanted to get involved in state politics last year, when I ran against Jay, the thing that brought it on was T-Splosh. I stood against T-Splosh before it was everybody else was for it. Now, we just recently had a splash tax vote. Jennifer can tell you, I did not tell one person that they should vote for it. I did not tell one person they should vote against it. And the reason being, that was a local option sales tax, and I feel like the 50 of every how many voters, 30,000, I don't know how many voted, not many, that are registered to vote in this county could go vote whether they wanted it or not. T-Splosh, there was nothing local about it. It was redistribution of wealth, it was regionalized planning, and our legislator told us things, my friends. Those people are my friends, they're not my enemies. They told me it was imperative. We must do this. Well, let me tell you something. I don't believe in raising taxes, but if I'm in Atlanta and I think something's imperative to you, I'm going to raise your sales tax 1 penny and you can vote me out. Because if it's imperative and it's that important, they've got the power to raise the sales tax instead of telling us we're going to and then split our money up all over the state. It's wrong. It was a redistribution of wealth. I've heard as much as they were even considered it extortion and bribery the way they did it. They told us, and I'm sorry for getting so passionate about this, but look, they told us if you don't put it on the ballot, we're going to punish you. That's what they said, and if you don't vote it in, we're going to punish you. It was bad. It was redistribution for wealth. I do not believe in taxing one group and giving it to another. I will never stand for that. That's why I got involved. I believe we need more transparency. I've got friends that go to the Capitol frequently. They didn't want to be transparent, those people. They even tried to get them to say register as lobbyists. These are citizens that voted for them. I asked you to send a businessman to Atlanta. There is a difference in this race. These are fine gentlemen. I'm a country boy. Problem-solving businessman that will never, ever forget that I work for you. If you can't see what I feel, this is about our grandchildren, folks. This is not about me. This is not about a $17,000 job in Atlanta. This is about doing what's right and standing up and saying, we have a 9th and 10th Amendment. If we did not give you the power in Washington, in the Article 1, Section 8, then within our borders, you cannot do that. And I want to know on what power we're allowing them to do that. We, the people, are the boss. I will never forget it's your money. I ask you to consider me on January the 7th, and you will never be sorry. I promise you that. Thank you.